Even that last night is no problem. But what is it?
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna devotees, please accept my humble obeisances of Guru Shri Prabhupada. Welcome devotees to morning Bhagavatam class. This morning we'll be hearing from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 3, verses 11 and 12 by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. And without further delay, we will start into the class, and we request devotees, as we are hearing, please try to take at least one takeaway from the class by Srila Prabhupada so that we can share and discuss and learn from each other's reflections and realizations. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Jaya Radha Madhava Punya Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Punya Bihari गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी यशोदानंदन ब्रजनंदन यशोदानंदन ब्रजनंदन यशोदानंदन ब्रजनंदन यमुना तीर वनचारी यमुना तीर वनचारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी यशोदानंदन ब्रजनंदन यशोदानंदन ब्रजनंदन यमुना तीर वनचारी यमुना तीर वनचारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय स्मार्ट परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य सत्तर सदस्यमान भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोस्वामी प्रभुपाद की जय अनंत कोटि वैष्णववृंद की जय रामाचार्य श्री हरिदास ठाकुर की जय प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद की जय श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गौ गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरिवर्धन की जय वृंदावन धाम की जय नवद्वीप धाम की जय स्वामी तो भक्तवृंद की जय ऑल ग्लोरीज टू द असमल ऑल ग्लोरीज टू द असमल ऑल ग्लोरीज टू द असमल थैंक यू वेरी मच थैंक यू
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 3, Text 11. Shashtam, Otrer, Apatyatvam, Vrita, Prapto, Anasuyaya, Anvikshikim, Alarkaya, Prahlada, Adipya, Uchivan, Shashtam Matrera Patyatvam, Vitak Prapto Nasuyaya, Anvikshikim Alarkaya, Pralada Divyach Uchivan, Shashtam Matrera Patyatvam, Vitak Prapto Nasuyaya, Anvikshikim Alarkaya, Pralada Divya Uchivan, Shashtamatera Patyatvam, Pritak Prapto Nasuyaya, Anvikshikim Alarkaya, Pralada Divya Uchivan,
Shashtam Matrera Patyatvam, Vrita Prapto Nasuyaya, Anvikshikim Alarkaya, Pralada Divya Uchivan,
Shashtam Matrera Patyatvam, Vrita Prapto Nasuyaya, Anvikshikim Alarkaya, Pralada Divya Uchivan,
Anvikshikim Alarkaya, Pralada Divya Uchivan, Vrita Prapto Nasuyaya, Anvikshikim Alarkaya, Pralada Divya Uchivan. Ladies. Shashtamatera Patyatvam, Vrita Prapto Nasuyaya, Anvikshikim Alarkaya, Uchivan. Strong Uchivan. Shashtamatera Patyatvam, Vrita Prapto Nasuyaya, Anvikshikim Alarkaya, Pralada Divya Uchivan, Shashtamatera Patyatvam, Vrita Prapto Nasuyaya, Anvikshikim Alarkaya, Pralada Divya Uchivan, Satamate Rita Prapto Nasuyaya Anikshiki Malakaya Pralada Uchivan. That's all. What meaning?
Shashtam,
Shashtam,
the sixth one. Atre, Avatri, Apatyatvam,
Apatyatyam,
sonship. Vrita, being prayed for. Prapta, obtained. Anasuyaya, by Anasuya. Anvikikim, on the subject of transcendence. Alarkaya, Alarkaya. Unto Alarka. Pralada Adipya, unto Pralada, etc. Uchivan, spoke. Translation. The sixth incarnation of the Purusha was the son of the sage Atri. He was born in the womb of Anasuya, who prayed for an incarnation. He spoke on the subject of transcendence to Alarka, Prahlada, and others, Yadu, Hoi Hoi, etc. The Lord incarnated himself as Dattatreya, the son of Rishi Atri and Anasuya. The history of the birth of Dattatreya as an incarnation of the Lord is mentioned in the Brahmanda Purana in connection with the story of the devoted wife. It is said there that Anasuya, the wife of Rishi Atri, prayed before the Lords Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva as follows. My lords, if you were pleased with me, and if you desire me to ask from you some sort of blessings, then I pray that you combine together to become my son. This was accepted by the lords, and as Dattatreya, the Lord expounded the philosophy of the spirit soul, and especially instructed Alarka, Prahlada, Jadu, Hoi Hoi, etc.
So, here we see that you can have God as your son. There are so many instances that like Devaki got Krishna as his son, Mother Jasoda got God as his son, Sachimata, he also got Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as son. So, this is better philosophy than to accept God as father. That is, especially in the Vaishnava philosophy. Others, the impersonalist, voidists, they have no conception of God. Void is ultimately everything is zero, and the impersonalist, God has no form, and both are the same thing, in a different language. The void is, they say, ultimately there is nothing but zero, and the impersonalist statement that maybe something, but it is not person, it is impersonal. Therefore, in the Padma Puran, this Buddhist theory, voidism, and the Shankar's theory, impersonalism, they are taken as one and the same. Prachannam Bodham Uchyat. Prachannam Bodha. The Buddhists, they decline to accept the authority of Vedas. And the Mayavadi, the impersonalists, they wanted to accept the authority of Vedas, but under the garb of Buddhism. Therefore Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has given his remark, Vedana maniya bodha hoila nastik. According to Vedic line of thought, anyone who does not accept the authority of Vedas, he is called atheist. Just like the Mohammedans, they also call kafir, one who does not accept the authority of Quran. They call kafir. And the Christians also, they call heathens. So there are different terms. So, according to our Vedic line of thought, anyone who does not accept the Vedic way of life, he is called atheist. Therefore, a Buddhist, according to Vedantis, Buddhists are called atheist. Actually, Buddha philosophy does not accept God, neither soul. They simply philosophize on the material elements. And they want to finish the material, dismantle the material elements, Nibbana. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has remarked that the Buddhists are honest. They frankly say that we don't accept your Vedas. But the Shankarites, they are cheaters, because they are accepting Vedas but on the basis of Buddha philosophy. That is cheating. So, there are many conceptions of God, but here is a conception of God, to accept God as Son. That is only in Vaishnava philosophy. Because we are eternal servants of God. That is our philosophy. Jive Swarupam Nitya Krishna Das. The living entity, real constitutional position is to serve God. We have several times explained this fact, that a part and parcel of God must be engaged in the service of the Lord. Just like this finger is part and parcel of my body, its duty is to serve the body. It has no other duty. A finger cannot go elsewhere and serve something else. It must serve my body. Therefore it is part and parcel. Similarly, if I am part and parcel of God, then my only duty is to serve God. This is Vaishnava philosophy. So, therefore in Vaishnava philosophy, everything in relationship with God is service. You have seen the picture in our Nectar of Devotion. Krishna's friends, Krishna is resting, they are all engaged in service. Somebody is fanning, somebody is massaging. Although they are friends, there is equality. None of them think that Krishna is greater than them. No. They think Krishna is our friend, a very nice friend, very beautiful friend, and a very powerful friend. Every day they go to the forest and they see one demon is killed by Krishna. So they become very much devoted. Their love for Krishna increased by seeing Krishna's activities, beauty, opulence. Similarly, the gopis, say they did not think Krishna is God. They did not know. Even Mother Jasoda, Nanda Maharaj, all the inhabitants of Vrindavan They did not know, neither they did care to know whether Krishna is God or not. They simply loved Krishna without any identification. We are worshipping God, Krishna, because we are impressed with so many things that Krishna is the Supreme Lord, He is the Absolute Truth. And therefore we are little inclined, all right, let us serve Krishna if He is God. You see? There is some condition. Krishna is God, so if I do not love, if I do not worship, then maybe something wrong. So there is business. But amongst the gopis and the cowherd boy and the Vrindavan, there is no business. We love Krishna unconditionally, that's all. We do not know anything except Krishna. This is Vrindavan atmosphere. So, Mother Jasoda, Nanda, and other elderly gopis, they used to treat Krishna as son, as beloved son. Because if we accept God as father or mother, there is conception of mother also. The Shaktas, there are many devotees of Durga, Kali, they also accept the mother. The Christian accept as father. The conception of father and mother, that is good, but there is little service. Because children, they take service from the mother and father. They render very little service to the father and mother. Every children, every man, every woman has taken so much services from the father and mother. Everyone knows that. Just like those who are mothers here, how much service they are giving to the little children, how much careful they are that their child may not be in some difficulty, always anxious. Similarly, this philosophy, to accept God as son, means opportunity for rendering more service than to accept God as father. God is neither father nor his father, actually his father, because he is the origin of everything. Janmadasya jataha. Krishna also says, ahang bija pada pita. Pita means father. So actually God's position is father. He is father of everything. No? All living entities, all material energy, as if you discover something, it is called the father of this scientific discovery. So he has discovered everything, material and spiritual, both. Therefore he is the original father of everyone, not only of the living entities, but also stones, woods, earth, water, fire, everything he has created. Bhumi, Rapana, Lo, Vayu, Khangmana, Buddhiriva. Prakriti me ashtadha, bhinna prakriti me ashtadha in the Bhagavad Gita. So he has created everything. He is actually the father. But out of love, the devotees, they accept the father as son to give more service. Father is obliged to give service to the son. He has given birth, therefore he has obligation to maintain the son, to give service. So, here if you accept God as son, then you cannot avoid the obligation of service. In other way, you can avoid. This is compulsory. Therefore, sometimes devotees, they pray. Here it is said, prayed for. The sixth incarnation of the Purusha, was the son of the sage Atri. He was born in the womb of Anusuya, who prayed for an incarnation. She requested that you all three, you become my son. The next.
Next verse.
Yes.
Tata Saptama
Saptama
Akutyam
Akutya
Ruche
Ruche
Jagyo Abhyajayata Sa
Sa
Yamadyoy
Yamadai
Suraganar
Siraganai
Apat
Vat
Svayambhuva
Sayam Bhuva
Antaram
Antaram
Tatak Saptama Akutyam Ruche Jagyobhyajayata Samatsayama
Dvai Samadvai Sajamadvai
Sayamadhyay Suragunar
Sajamadvai Suraganai
Apat Svayam Bhuvantaram Tatak Saptama Akutyam Ruche Jagyobhyajayata Sayamadhyay Suragunar Apat Svayam Bhuvantaram Tatak Saptama Akutyam Ruche Jagyobhyajayata Sayamadhyay Suragunar Apat Svayam Bhuvantaram Tatak Saptama Akutyam
Ruchi Jagga Bhajayata Sajamadai Suraganai Rapat Sayam Bhuvantaram
Saptama Akutyam
Saptama Akutyam
Jago Bayajata
Ruchi Jagga Bhajayata
Sajamadhya Suraganai
Sajamadai Suraganai
Apat Sayam Bhuvantaram
Apat Sayam Bhuvantaram
Tata Saptama Akutyam
Saptama Akutyam
Jagyo Bajayata
Jagyo Bhajayata
Ayamadhyaya Suraganar
Sayamadhyay Suragunar
Apat Sayam Bhuvantaram
Apat Svayam Bhuvantaram
All right. That's what meaning?
Tata. After that. Saptama. The seventh in the line. Akutyam. In the womb of Akuti. Ruche. By the Prajapati. Ruchi. Jagya. The Lord's incarnation of the name. Abhyajayata. Advented. Saha. He. Yamadhyay. Along with Yama, etc. Suraganar. Demigods. Svayambhuvantaram. The change of Swayambhuvamanu period. Apat. Ruled over. Translation. The seventh incarnation in the line was advented as Jagya, the son of Prajapati Ruchi and his wife Akuti. He controlled the period changed by the Swayambhuva Manu, assisted by the demigods as his son Yama and others.
So, you are marking that so many incarnation of God have been described. You are now in the 7th. So there is chronological number. Which incarnation, what is his chronological number, what is his father's name, what is his mother's name, what are his activities, how the bodily feature, what is the mission, everything is described in the Shastra. And nowadays, any rascal comes and he says, I am incarnate. Now, what is your father's name? Where is it is described either in the Shastra? Because incarnation, we cannot accept any rascal as incarnation without proper identification. But it has become a fashion now. Any rascal comes, says, I am incarnation of God. Now, where is the mention? Some rascal says, I was formerly Ram and Krishna. Another rascal says, oh, you are Ram and Krishna. So this kind of rascalism is not very good. You must accept the incarnation of God according to the description in the Shastras. Not one rascal cheats you and you also become another rascal to accept it. Don't do that. You must know what are the indication of incarnation. This question was raised by Sanatana Goswami to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Because in this age of Kali, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's incarnation is stated in the Shastra, in the Srimad Bhagavatam, in the Upanishad, in Mahabharata. There are evidences. He appeared as the son of Jagannath Mishra, but his incarnation is stated in the Shastra. Therefore we accept Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as incarnation. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu never said that I am incarnation. Rather, to warn the ordinary people that they should not accept any so-called incarnation, when somebody stated, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, that you are incarnation of Krishna, he immediately blocked his ears. So don't say like that. No, it is great offense. Because he was playing the part of devotee. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was teaching us how to execute devotional service. And he deprecated Mayavad philosophy in so many ways. He was to establish the worship of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and he was exemplifying himself how to become a devotee. So he never mentioned that is incarnation. But we understand from the features of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that is incarnation of Krishna. It is stated in the Srimad Bhagavatam, Krishna Varnam Tisha Krishnam. Krishna Varnam, Krishna Varnayati, or in the category of Krishna, Krishna Varnam. And Tisha Krishna, by his complex and he is not black, Akrishna. Akrishna means not black. Not black, it may be other color. Yes, that may be. But in the Srimad Bhagavatam it is said, when Gargamuni was preparing the horoscope of Krishna, he said, Shuklang Raktang Statha Pitam Idaning Krishnatam Gata. Incarnation of God, either white, Shuklam, Raktam, either red, yellow, or black. these scholars accept. So, Gargamuni said, Shuklam Raktam Tathapitam Idanim Krishna Tangata, your son, this son, formerly he appeared in white collar, in red collar, in yellow collar. Now he has appeared in black collar. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was yellow collar. Therefore, when it is said in the Srimad Bhagavatam, Tisha Akrishnam, he is not black, that means he is pita, he is yellow. Krishna Varnam Tisha Krishnam. Shangapangas Parsadam. He is always associated by his devotees. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, so long he lived on this planet, he was always associated with devotees. The most confidential devotees, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Sri Krishna Chaitanya, the central point, Prabhu Nityananda, Sri Advaita, Gadadhar, Sivasadi, Gaur, Bhaktavind. The Sanga Pangastra Parsadam, Krishna Varnam, he is always chanting Krishna, he is Krishna himself, Tisha Krishnam, but his bodily complexion is not like Krishna. Other feature, Sanga Pangastra Parsadam, and he is always associated with his devotees. They are his soldiers, Shangapangas apart. In other incarnation, Krishna comes with weapon. As Lord Ramchandra, he came with bows and arrows. As Krishna, he came with a disc and club. Here, Krishna has come compassionately to distribute mercy to the fallen souls. So he has not taken any astra, any weapon. His weapon is his associate devotee. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's associate, Nityananda Prabhu, he is going to kill Jagai Madhai, not by weapon, but by his mercy. He went to preach Jagai Madhai, the drunkards, the woman hunters, flesh eaters, and they hurt him. Still, he delivered them. So this astra, this is the astra, by argument, by philosophy, by entreating, by flattering, they are giving Krishna consciousness. Advaita Prabhu, Nityananda Prabhu. Otherwise, they are already killed. Krishna, if he kills them, then everything is finished. They are already killed by so many bad habits. They are going to hell. So, those are already killed, so what will be benefit by killing them? To deliver them. Shangapangasth Parsadam. This is the incarnation of Krishna, it is stated. And how his worship, Jaggai Sankirtanai Prayai Jajanti Hi Sumedhasa. The worshipping method of Lord Chaitanya, incarnation of Krishna, is not very difficult. Simply Jaggai Sankirtanai. You perform this Jagga of Sankirtan, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama. So Sanatana Goswami, he was minister, so to confirm this, he asked Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that how I can accept somebody as incarnation. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said that that is not difficult. Everything is stated in the Shastras And from the evidence of Shastra, you can accept who is incarnation. So our point is that you do not become so foolish and rascal that any rascal comes and poses himself as God, incarnation of God. You kick on their face. Please consult the Shastras, whether his name, his father's name, his mother's name, his features of the body, his activities are corroborating with the Shastra. Then accept, otherwise don't. Thank you very much.
All glories to Yeshua.
Thank you so much for this, for all of us, joining to hear Shri Prabhupada's class. So powerful, as usual, very, very powerful. Would like to ask devotees if you have any questions, any comments, especially a takeaway or reflection, please do raise your hand. We have a nice group today, 14 devotees. So nice to see more and more of us participating in our morning Bhagavatam classes, just as we heard yesterday's class by His Grace Devkinandan Prabhu. And he repeatedly actually spoke about Shravanam Kirtanam, hearing from the right source, and how hearing is so important, extremely, extremely important. And it's so wonderful to actually hear from senior devotees and also our founder Acharya. So excited to see so many devotees online. So if you have a reflection, a takeaway or comment, just a sharing, please do raise your hand and we'll call upon you, or you can just jump right in. One thing that while you're all thinking, one thing that came to my mind as Prabhupada was concluding this class was the importance of Sadhu Shastra and Guru, Sadhu, Shastra. How, these three are the check and balance of our Krishna consciousness. And Shri Prabhupada so clearly says we should consult with Shastra, and then we've also heard, consult with Guru and Sadhu and make sure that they're all in alignment. I was attending a workshop by Anuttama Prabhu about 3 years ago. It was a leadership workshop and a communication workshop. And the first chapter, actually the first page of the first chapter, he mentioned that the first and foremost thing that any devotee should always refer to, be part of, is be in alignment with Shri Prabhupada. And he used the word alignment, and he talked about, how, we always have to send our cars in for alignment, whether it be in a Sam's Club or a mechanic, we have to always make sure that our cars are in a line. If not, it tends to go off, when you take your hands off the wheels while driving. So in this workshop, we were taught that it's very important that we stick with the alignment of Shri Prabhupada, what Shri Prabhupada say we do, and then check with Shastra and Sadhu. Are they all in a line? All three of them should be in alignment for us, for us to follow the right path of Krishna consciousness. So I was really reflecting on the point of alignment, how important it is that we align ourselves. So that was what came to my mind when Shri Prabhupada was concluding this very amazing lecture on this verse. So we'd like to hear from other devotees. Do you have any comments, any reflection, any takeaway? Please do jump right in and share. We should have at least one takeaway. Yes, Nitya Gopal, go ahead.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandat Pranam to you and all devotees on the call. Wonderful, wonderful lecture by Srila Prabhupada. So wonderful to listen in the morning. Mataji, my takeaway was, the worshipping, you can see the second last paragraph, the worshipping method of Lord Chaitanya incarnation is not very difficult. Simply, yagya sankirtana. You just perform the sankirtana yagya. So that is like a simple takeaway for me. If one just take a part in sankirtana yagya, and that's what the mainly worshipping method of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. I like that.
Thank you so much for sharing that, Nitukapal. It sounds simple, but it's so merciful, He's so merciful because, again, what we discussed on Radhastami and even yesterday's lecture by Devkinandan Prabhu, and I was very happy that he mentioned that because it's so important that he said that, the holy name in Krishna, devotion, no, I think he mentioned the devotional service. That's what he said. Yes. The devotional service in Krishna is none different. So here Srila Prabhupada is saying the holy name, right, is none different. We just have to just perform Sankirtan Yagna. So beautiful, so easy, so nice, so merciful, actually, so much mercy. We don't have to do all those intense deity worship, in the other yugas and, give away in charity, stand on one feet. We don't have to do all that.
Exactly. It's made it so simple, just, chant, take a prasad, and you'll get, qualified to go back home.
So simple. Yes. Thank you for sharing that takeaway. Thank you so much. That's so simple that we just gotta Srila Prabhupada said, we're simple for the simple, complicated for the complicated. We make our lives complicated.
Just the people, they have brain and they are quite intelligent. They think, this process is quite complicated, and for them, they have to go to tough process.
So true, but it's so simple. So simple. Thank you for sharing that, Nitukapal. Very nice takeaway. Thank you. Dear Krishna has one in the chat. He says, Hare Krishna, all glories to Sri Prabhupada. ISKCON's foundations and teachings are based on Guru, Shastra, and Sadhu. There is always a check and balance. Absolutely, Prabhu. Absolutely. There's always a check and balance. We got to, this is our check and balance system. Basically, it's like balancing the equation. Those of us who took chemistry, yes, Dear Krishna, why don't you speak? Would love to have you speak. Yeah, go ahead.
Hare Krishna, Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glory to Srila Prabhupada.
Yeah.
Wonderful lecture and amazing. Purports, beyond words. So simple, like you said, but they are so profound. This Guru, Shastra, and Sadhu is such an important reminder, because even for preachers, sometimes what happens in the course of our efforts to preach, sometimes we tend to compromise also our standards or teachings to please others. So I'm just wondering like Srila Prabhupada was very direct. If we see a couple of sentences Srila Prabhupada spoke, he was just hitting on the head. So of course we are not Srila Prabhupada. He has that potency, that purity. How can we, on the name of preaching, I'm just wondering, how can we avoid compromising our standards as given by Srila Prabhupada? Or in fact, whatever Srila Prabhupada gave, it is all from the basis of Sadhu, Shastra, and Guru. So I'm just trying to think, sometimes we tend to compromise. I see that sometimes happening.
Hare Krishna. Please step on humble obeisances, all glories to the Prabhupada. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has already warned. You can become Guru if you say what's in the Shastra without diluting it. He gave that very clear. No, he's talking about a Shiksha Guru, giving instructions. But stick with what's in the Shastra and don't dilute it. If you dilute it, you begin to compromise. The extent that we can go is just giving examples, maybe more examples that are recent, things that are happening, but there have to be examples that are chosen to support what's being said in the Shastra. There's no reason to compromise anything, because as soon as you compromise, you start speculating, and then next thing you know, you're in Mayavad philosophy. Maya is always waiting to have people do the wrong thing, give an opportunity for people to do the wrong thing. So stick to what the Shastra says, and then, what Guru is speaking based on the Shastra, you can quote Guru also, or the way the Guru phrased the same point that's in the Shastra, phrased it so that we can understand in the modern day how we see things. So as long as we go for what's in the Shastra and say it like that, the meaning conveyed, then we won't be guilty of compromising or fall into the trap of compromise. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu, so much for clarifying and stressing on that. One another issue these days is all this social media. So much people post on the name of Shastra on the basis, it almost comes like, the source is very authoritative. And so another thing is challenge I would say is, we all need to stick to the purpose of Srila Prabhupada. I think that's the best or safest route for us, because so much information is available these days. And we have not studied, like I have not studied the Vedas, Upanishads. So if somebody is posting on the name of Vedas, Upanishads, it's difficult for me to verify it is right source. So that is another challenge I see when we are going out or talking to people or preaching, that we need to stick to just the purpose of Srila Prabhupada. Is that a good thought, Prabhu?
Yes, it is. The purports explain things even more, and the purports are from Krishna through Srila Prabhupada to us. He said Krishna was dictating to him, practically. This is another thing, yeah. So this is purport that's already approved by Krishna coming to spirit body. But yes, purports sticking to Srila Prabhupada's purports is safest way to go. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you.
I really like the point that Parikshit just mentioned. Amazing point. If we can just go by that, where, Prabhupada said when he wrote the Bhagavatam, all the books, Krishna was sitting on his shoulder, like Krishna was dictating, and when Srila Prabhupada was reading the book, his disciples asked him, but, Prabhupada, you wrote, he goes, no, Krishna told me to wrote, Krishna was telling me what to write. So that even shows that going back to Srila Prabhupada's books is so powerful. And I know exactly what you mean there, Krishna. So I know for me, when I come across such source, such, social media post, if I know that, like, is this what it is? I will immediately contact some of my seniors, whether it be my senior God brother, God sister. I go to Bhagavatam, I do a search on Vedabase, I go to Proper Disciples to get my course. I will go to more than 3, 4, 5 searches, not just one person. I'll literally go to all my, the seniors to see, is this what it is? Like, I think, 2, 3 years ago, I would say pre-COVID, like there was this question that I was even asked yesterday, very, very nice question, where there was I don't know whether the word is misunderstanding or misconception, that second generation Matajis cannot perform Guru Puja Arti to Srila Prabhupada, or they cannot touch Prabhupada's picture or Prabhupada's murti. That was never an issue. In fact, if you ask any Prabhupada disciple, Prabhupada allowed his disciples to cook for him, female disciples, and he was criticized. He was criticized by his own God brothers in India, right? But he was criticized, but he allowed his female disciples to cook for him. He allowed his disciples to, if we have seen so many pictures, right? Where Mother Jamuna, Mother Malati, so many of them went on Japa walks with Srila Prabhupada. And I was even trained by Prabhupada disciples, where we are allowed to even, go up to Prabhupada, change his water cup, put the hat on him, do Guru Puja Arti. So it's like you said, it's a misconception, because we whimsically said, oh, Prabhupada is a sannyasi, so we cannot do anything. Well, if that's the case, even our gurus are sannyasis, then why did he cook for the guru? Why did we do this? So we had to be very careful that we don't create our own whimsical philosophy and say, oh, Prabhupada is a sannyasi, so we cannot do that. No, that is whimsical. That's completely wrong. Prabhupada said that I allow my disciples to serve me. You know, like Chandramani Swami, I cook for him. I mean, there were early days in Gitanagari where I washed the clothes of the sannyasis. I ironed their clothes. It's mercy. So we have to be very, very careful, like you said there, Krishna. We have to check with Guru Sadhu Shastra. So when this was happening amongst our congregation here, I went straight to the ISKCON North America DD ministry, and I went straight to Mayapur DD ministry, Nrsimha Kavacha Prabhu, and got a confirmation that second generation female devotees can offer Guru Puja Arti, they can touch Prabhupada's picture, they can carry Srila Prabhupada Murti. It is not an offense. So it's we should be very, very careful where we don't think, oh, he's a sadhu, sannyas, so I can't. That is our mind. We are not pure. We are not pure to really understand philosophy, you know, so we really have to go to the seniors to get clarification. We cannot just assume because it's a, you know, he's a sannyasi, I cannot do da 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 da. No, that is our mind. We have to go to, like you said, the check and balance, right? Guru, Sadhu, Shastra. Go to the source. But yeah, very, very important point there, Krishna. Very important point. So yes, so I checked with the women are allowed to do Guru Puja Arti to Srila Prabhupada. They are allowed to touch Srila Prabhupada's garland. They are allowed to touch his picture. They're allowed to even touch the Murti of Srila Prabhupada completely. So yes, thank you. Do you want us to add more that there, Krishna?
I can, but I don't want to find like cry baby. I mean, because I see so many preachings, you know, even in our ISKCON, you know, sometimes just to please others. I see they are not really coming from Srila Prabhupada purpose, just something from somewhere which can be right or wrong, we don't know. But then it, I think that the way I'm trying to explain is then the whole centralized approach to build a congregation or community, that becomes little difficult when we start saying different things, you know, coming from the same source. Although, so I don't know if I'm able to explain that, but I think that's a challenge we have.
Excellent point, and that is the reason why it's very important. See what, you know, like, you know, what makes a group of devotees or a congregation or a temple be based on Srila Prabhupada's teachings is we repeatedly talk about Srila Prabhupada. We repeatedly hear Srila Prabhupada's lectures. We repeatedly read about Srila Prabhupada. In fact, I was watching Prabhupada Memories, I think about 1-2 years ago, by Jyotirmayi Devidasi and Ananga Manjari Devidasi. Both of them are Prabhupada disciples. And they both said, if we want to know about Prabhupada, we have to read about him and read the books he wrote. So the more as devotees, as, you know, congregation members, as a temple, the more we come together and hear more about Srila Prabhupada, read about Srila Prabhupada, read the books he wrote, and speak about what Srila Prabhupada wrote and quote what Srila Prabhupada said, then we become very Prabhupada conscious. The goal is to become very Prabhupada conscious. And the more we do that, like, for example, like here, we are coming together, you know, like there was one instruction that Srila Prabhupada gave, I think in 1972, a written letter, which I have a copy of it actually, a PDF copy of it, where Srila Prabhupada literally made and gave an instruction that all initiated devotees should attend temple programs and should attend morning classes. Now he said, but he was referring to the temple, but now we see that there are so, like you said, so many social media, right? This Sangha, you know, they have this teleconference and that teleconference and this teleconference, like so many teleconference. But is the teleconference based, is it stemming from a temple, or is just coming just from, you know, it's just prakat, it's just, you know, like it's just manifesting on its own. It's very important that we come from the temples of concept, because when it starts from the temple, We are representing ISKCON, we are representing Srila Prabhupada, we are following what Srila Prabhupada said. Because it's very easy to start this conference and that conference and this conference when the basis is not from what Srila Prabhupada said. Because Srila Prabhupada gave very strict instructions. The 10 temple programs and the temple morning programs. He mentioned the word temple morning programs. He did not mention this teleconference program and that teleconference. He mentioned very clear. Prabhupada was very clear. Because we you know, like you said, there's so much social media out there that we make it complicated to make it easy for our own personal benefit. You know, we try to do it for our personal, you know, meaning like we try to say, oh, this is easy for me, so I'm just going to do it that way. No, it's very, very dangerous. We have to be very, very clear, very clear. Prabhupada was very transparent and very clear. He says this, we just do that. Of course, now times are changing. You know, we cannot change the principles. We cannot change the principles, but we have to, like Parikshit said, we have to add more details, more explanation to the principle for a simple mind to understand, like layman's language, to give more examples, to give more analogies. I'm trying to find this book, which I can't find. There's a beautiful book I found out that it's like 100-something analogies by Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj, I believe. I'm trying to find that. So we need to use a lot of analogies by our acharyas, you know, a lot of examples to support the principle, but we cannot do it for our whimsical laziness, lack of a better word. I hope that helped, Dr. Krishna. I hope that helped.
Yes, Mataji. I mean, definitely. Because there is so much already given to us. There is no need to go for any other source. I mean, of course, there might be valid sources, but my point was that we don't know. But what we know for sure, at least that we can start following, and it's already too much already.
That's so true, too much. I like that. We have it.
And another point, Mataji, I was thinking about what Parikshit Prabhu said and you said, and of course, Srila Prabhupada said in this class. This is also very important for the youth, because, of course, for a person like me who has come from Indian background, a lot of mixed up philosophy is always in the background of my mind. Always, I mean, it's fed in subconscious. But if we start exposing that to our youth, that will confuse them completely.
Oh yes.
So that is another challenge, you know, as a parents or as congregation we have, is to make sure we don't confuse them by exposing them to different things that might confuse them. I mean, of course, we have to teach them to respect everyone. That is our principle also. But at the same time, what we have to follow, that we have to follow. That's all.
Yeah. In fact, speaking about respect, also you said, you know, yes, we have to respect everyone, but we have to be very careful. Even respecting the spirit soul in the child is also important, because the child is, you know, belongs to the Lord. The child also has a jiva, as you know, a spirit soul. So we have to feed the Bhakti Lata Beach in the child in the correct way, not just giving them everything in India. Yeah, it'll cause a big confusion. If they hear something from so many other sources, then they'll come back to the temple and say, wait, but this is what I heard in something else. They're very confused. Prabhupada said, I have it all in ISKCON. You don't have to go out of ISKCON. Prabhupada made it very clear. He said, everything is within ISKCON. You don't have to go outside of what I'm giving you. He made it very, very clear. As soon as we go outside of what he has given us, then we have confused ourselves and the children. So it's very important that we keep the children within ISKCON, because yes, you're right. You know, we carry a lot of past baggages. We don't want to pass it on to our children. It's very, very, very dangerous, very dangerous. So everything's within ISKCON. We stick within ISKCON. We stay within ISKCON. Very simple. Very, very simple. So thank you for bringing that up there, Krishna. And yes, you're right. We have it. We have it. We don't have to go outside. It's all within Srila Prabhupada's books. Srila Prabhupada just said, just follow what is very simple. We don't have to go to any other place to give them any other knowledge. Prabhupada gave us a Bhagavad Gita. We stick with this Bhagavad Gita. We don't have to go to any other Bhagavad Gita outside of ISKCON. It's right here. Prabhupada gave it. Very simple. But yes, thank you for bringing it up. It's very, very important that as servants, as preachers, as leaders, as whatever, that we have to be very Prabhupada conscious. We have to be proper anugas. And in order to be proper anugas, we have to follow what Prabhupada said. And we have to do what Prabhupada said. We have to just give what Prabhupada gave. We cannot go, only then can we spread that disease, as they call it, that healthy disease, and we all become proper anugas. The goal is to become proper anugas. So that's what's going to take us back to God, because we follow what Prabhupada said. He gave it very simply. But yes, thank you for bringing it up, Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Very good point. Any other feedback, any other takeaway, any other questions? Yes, please go ahead.
To accept on humble basis, God is Srila Prabhupada. So in this lecture, some of the points that Srila Prabhupada made, it's good takeaways. He talked about the relationship. The relationship with cowherd boys, cowherd girls, they don't know Krishna as God, but they love Krishna unconditionally. That's a statement for us. Even though we have been told, because the conditioned souls are trying to lord it over material nature, therefore they need to know that God is the supreme personality of Godhead. But the relationships of the pure devotees with Krishna are so very sweet. And Srila Prabhupada said in Vaishnava philosophy, and it's the first time I heard it, only in Vaishnava philosophy, that devotees can accept Krishna as a son. And if Krishna as a son, the other religions accept Krishna as father, Krishna as mother. And Srila Prabhupada was making this point that if we're part and parcel of Krishna, then the part is supposed to serve the whole. So we're supposed to give service to Krishna. But the other religions that accept Krishna as father, then he's obliged to serve them, because fathers and mothers do so much for the sons or for the children. But when we accept Krishna as son and we the parent, then in that position, that Vatsalya Ras, then we have to make sure that the son is okay. And this is a good example. I mean, the examples of that is shown so much by Mother Yashoda, making sure that Krishna is okay before he goes out, making sure he's thinking of him, making sure that he gets home with a good time. All that service, parental service, was given by Mother Yashoda to Krishna. And so that point really, really struck me as, if we look at Krishna as father, Krishna as mother, these are the pure devotee level now, okay? As father and mother, then one of the things that connected with the Christianity that I know is that then Christians begin to pray, Father, give me this, Father, give me that, Father, give me this, Father, give me that. And they are grateful and they get it, but they don't serve. They don't serve, they demand. So then the Father is the one that's serving. But in that Vatsalya Ras relationship, where the devotee can play the role of father and mother, now the devotee is concerned about their son and how well to take care of him. So that was a very subtle point there. There was a very sweet point too that support that particular Vatsalya Ras, where pure devotees can be father and mother to Krishna. So that was the point that I wanted to bring in. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much. Actually, that's so. Thank you for sharing that. Actually, I was also very caught by how Srila Prabhupada said so nicely. This is the only tradition or philosophy that we can become, parents of God. Yeah, Prabhupada is so. Prabhupada makes everything so simple, so simple. We just make it so complicated. That's why it's so important that we come together here and more often on this forum of our temple's morning classes and participate in here, because it's It's so powerful, really, really, really powerful. So thank you for sharing that. Yeah, how kind your Prabhupada is to us, that we learn so much that only we can get in this philosophy, in this movement. We can't get it anywhere else. Such mercy we got from Srila Prabhupada. Any other questions and comments? Any other thoughts? Just a couple of announcements. This evening we have our Bhagavad Gita Circle reading program. We are continuing with chapter 15. The chapter is entitled The Yoga of the Supreme. So please do join us this evening at 6 o'clock. And it's a holiday, so I'm hoping that we'll see more of you and more of others joining us, so we can be part of this amazing coming together and reading together of Srila Prabhupada's books. And tomorrow is Ekadasi. We will definitely see a post by Nitya Gopal Prabhu soon, I'm sure, about the glories of tomorrow's Ekadasi. It's a half-day fast in honor of the appearance of Lord Vaman Dev, and then we fast till noon, and then the rest of the day is Ekadasi, and then we honor the birth of Lord Vaman Dev on Wednesday. So please do mark your calendar, and if you're observing Ekadasi, and like I said, we will definitely see a post from Nitya Gopal Prabhu's when he posts the glories and the WhatsApp today. Right, Nitya Gopal Prabhu?
Yes, Mataji. Thank you so much for reminder. I will post it right now.
I just got reminded by ISKCON Philadelphia. So thank you. Yes. So
Thank
we
you,
will
Mataji.
definitely. Yes, and we always look forward to those posts. They're very, very nice pastimes. So it's wonderful to read the Ekadasi pastime. So thank you for sharing that with us.
Thank you for allowing me to post it and share, Mataji. It's so
Yes,
nice.
Haribol, so nice. So please do mark that, and I hope to see all of you this evening for the Bhagavad Gita Circle program. Until then, Vanchakrapadivyascha, Kripasindobevacha, Patitanam Pavanebhyo, Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.